welcome to another up close video. Today's one is for Tonic Stamp Club number 23, which is called Fintastic Mermaids and is a stunning set. I really love how cute these little characters are, and they really remind me of the fairies that came out quite some time ago actually. If I can find the name of it, I'll put it up here. It won't be available to buy anymore, but you might have it in your stash and it might jog your memory. But they're definitely drawn by the same person. They look a lot like them, they're little faces of them. So let's have a close-up look at the gorgeous stamp set. So we have got lots of funny, punny kind of sentiments. I think all of them, yeah, all of them are punny ones, but you can definitely just use your regular dies and stamps if you'd rather, you know, maybe the recipient wouldn't get a punny joke. You could just use a normal sentiment with them as well. But you have 4 gorgeous mermaids. You've also got a dolphin, a narwhal, a jellyfish, a little oyster with a pearl in it, a treasure chest, a little fish, another little fish, a little kind of swirly shell, and then a starfish as well, and some bubbles. So really gorgeous images. So this is the little oyster that's open with the pearl in there. It kind of looks to me like it's more of like a jewellery box, like someone's turned it into a jewellery box and it's got like a little cushion on it and there's a little pearl in it. So that's how I kind of coloured mine. You've got a gorgeous little jellyfish, really sweet little jellyfish, really cute. Then you've got a narwhal as well, and you can easily just Google how to colour in these images if you're not sure exactly what kind of colours that they're supposed to be. But I did my narwhal with like warm grey kind of colours and I gave him like an old goldy kind of horn, but obviously you can go as wacky as you want with them. You don't have to stick to natural colours, but if you are struggling, then Google is always your best friend for finding colouring of things. Then we also have a gorgeous little treasure chest, which has got kind of like, it looks like a mountain of other stuff in the distance, and then you've got like a few coins, a little pearl necklace, there's a little shine mark on there as well, and there's also like a stack of coins in the front as well, so you can have fun going to town with colouring that, maybe even adding in like little dots of Nuvo glitter drops or little dots of glue and then adding some glitter so it looks like there's like rubies and emeralds and stuff in there as well. You've got a gorgeous little dolphin, and I love that the dolphin and the narwhal are going in different directions as well, so they can interact with the different mermaids in different ways too. And I love that the narwhal is curved, and I suppose the dolphin kind of has a curve to it as well, because I actually used 3 of them together and they kind of make like a wreath design, but you could definitely do that with the dolphin too. You've got the lovely little starfish there. You've got this gorgeous little fish. I think I coloured him more like a goldfish. I know goldfish don't live in the sea, but he's a cute little fish. You could maybe even colour him like Nemo as well. You could turn him into a clownfish. Then you've got this gorgeous little shell here, which I coloured like the little tiny yellow shells that you find on the beach. And then you've got this gorgeous fish here, which kind of looks a bit like flounder. So that's how I tried to sort of colour him in. And then you've got a little set of bubbles down here as well that can be for the creatures or for the mermaids too, just to add a little bit of interest. And then we have our 4 gorgeous mermaids. So we've got this little lady here with really lovely bouncy curly kind of hair, and she's got 2 like little starfish in her hair as well, and then she's admiring herself in her mirror. Then you've got this lovely lady here who's put her hair up in a ponytail with like little shells on it, and she's kind of giggling or laughing, so I kind of made her laugh at the dolphin, but you could have like a funny sentiment next to her or whatever and create some kind of design of a reason why she would be laughing. You've got this sort of little cheeky looking mermaid here, which I actually put, I think one I put with the treasure chest and one I put with the oyster with the pearl, because she kind of looks like she's about to sort of pinch something off someone maybe, and she's got like a little crown in her hair with like little bubbles and a starfish, and she's got a lovely little like choker necklace on as well. And I love the way her tail is going up behind her too, because you can really do some different kind of layouts as well. And then the final one, she could be going to give you a hug, she could be saying hooray, you know, lots of different sort of reasons. Her outfit actually reminds me of the Flintstones. I don't know why. She's just sort of making me think of the Flintstones, the way the neck pieces and stuff. But yeah, she's really gorgeous little mermaid as well. So they're all really beautiful and really nice to colour in too. They're really easy to colour in, and you've kind of got them going in different directions as well. So these 3 or these 2 are kind of looking more this way. She's looking that way, and then she's facing this way but kind of looking that way, so it's quite nice to have all of the different variations in how they're sort of sitting for different kind of cards as well. And this one, I did actually only do my small kind of size of card, but this one would work really nicely for more of like a DL kind of size, because she's sort of so straight up and down rather than being curved. It kind of works nicely for a lengthier kind of card, but these sort of ones could be perfect for your square cards or your smaller cards, or doing a square topper and matting and layering it up as well. And you can add any of the other elements in to kind of build the design into a different shape. Like, I think she works really nicely on a landscape card, because you can have like the chest here. You could even have one of the characters interacting with her as well. And then sentiment wise, we have got birthday fishes, make a splash, let's celebrate, good to see you, and then you've got you mermaid to be mine, and you're so flippin' fantastic. So that's like a double pun in that one. But yeah, really lovely punny kind of sentiments. I really love this kind of a set, and we've got the dies to go with them, and I think there is a die for every single image except the bubbles, because you don't really need a die to cut out the bubbles. So I'll show you all of the coordinating dies first. I just need a magnet. So we've got this one for the mermaid looking in the mirror. Let me zoom you in a little bit closer. Okay, so we've got this one for the mermaid looking in the mirror. Then we have got this mermaid who's kind of going hooray or going to give you a hug. We've got the taller sort of mermaid that's laughing. We have got the pickly looking mermaid that looks like she's going to pinch some treasure from the chest. We've got the narwhal, we have got the dolphin, we've got the jellyfish, we've got the sort of flounder fish down here, we have got the little starfish, the smaller little fish that could be a little Finding Nemo clownfish, we've got the treasure chest, we've got the little curly shell. I'm not sure what those shells are called. It could be a snail shell actually as well, or you could draw a like little hermit crab coming out of it. And then you've also got the kind of oyster clam with the pearl inside it. And then you can see you have extra dies as well. I love this with the stamp clubs, when they give you dies to cut everything out, but they also put some extra ones in there as well. So we've got these two gorgeous little bits of seaweed. I really like these. I love little wiggly sort of things like this, and the way they're not like a uniform wiggle. They're sort of off to one side, or they've got bigger and smaller wiggles in them. We've got little bits of like underwater plant life. So this could be like a coral, and then you've got more of like a seaweed kind of design as well. And then we have this gorgeous element here, which is loads of bubbles, and you have different pieces to fit inside the bubbles as well. So this is actually two different dies. This one just cuts the bubbles, so you can just cut this into your card and have little apertures with the characters poking out. You could just use this to cut circles if you just want circles, or you can actually use the two of them together. If you don't want to cut into the front panel of your card, you can cut these two together, and it will give you a frame kind of design that you could then put the characters behind, but then just mount this on the front of your card rather than having to cut these circles into the front of your card, if you know what I mean. But if you do want to cut them into the front of your card, but you also want a border around them, you can then cut these two together and stick that over the top as well. I also think this kind of design would be fantastic for your DL or slimline kind of style cards too, because you could maybe die cut this at the bottom and then flip it round and die cut it at the top as well, and overlap this large circle, so you can have your focal image in the large circle and then have smaller images in the other circles coming off as well. So I love this one. I think that's a really cool die. Then we have a gorgeous little turtle. So we've got a turtle with little sort of waves of water behind him. So you can use him. You can actually, he's quite easy to snip around and layer back on top, and even snip around his shell and layer back on top if you want to do a little bit of decoupaging, or you can just colour him in with your alcohol pens. Looks really cool like that. Then we've also got an anchor in there as well that fits in one of the smaller circles, so a lovely little anchor. You probably could cut that out, but if you had the showcase, was it called Ahoy Sailor or Ahoy Matey or something, and that had lots of nautical themed things in as well. I think that did have an anchor in it. You could use those bits and pieces in conjunction with this as well and bring in that anchor kind of element too. Then you also have this one that's just sort of like a little bit of a wave. It almost looks like a cricket ball as well. You could maybe even turn it into like a cricket ball and do some little red stitches across those little pieces too. So a lovely little one like that. Then you have this little tiny one that's got 3 little fish in there, as well as like the little water stripes going across, and then another one just with the little water stripes on there as well. So, and all of these are verso dies, these circle ones, so they would just cut into your card, but if you wanted them to be actual like circle toppers that you could then stick onto your card, you can just take this die here, which cuts all of your circles, and then you can cut these into the circles. So you do actually have the outside of each of them, but it's kind of all connected together. So it's a little bit different to a normal tonic die where you'd have the separate edge with this one, but you've actually just got them all individual. Or if you don't want to sort of line up with these ones and you just have circle dies in your stash, I'm sure you have circles that would match all of these different shapes as well, so you could just put one round it and die cut it together too. Or you could even bring in fancy edged ones like the cross stitch circles or some stitched circles that you might have as well. You can definitely use them around there too. So I will put all of these away and then be back to show you all of my samples that I've done in a second. Okay, so the first samples that I've got to show you, the lovely Janine at Tonic requested some cupcake toppers. So I've turned all of the mermaids and the narwhal and the dolphin into little cupcake toppers. And I had so much fun colouring them, giving them different coloured hair and stuff as well, and playing around with them. So this one here, that could be going hooray or, you know, going to give you a hug, I've kind of made her go hooray that she's found a pearl in an oyster, and I've coloured the sort of, I feel like it is like a cushion inside there, so I've coloured that green to sort of match her fin and some of her accessories, and then I decided to give her ombre hair, so it goes from red, orange to yellow, just to make her look a little bit different. And the great thing about having the coordinating dies for all of these stamped images, one, it makes it super duper easy to cut them out, and as always the Tonic Stamp Clubs, the dies cut around the images absolutely perfectly, and you can see the whole image through the die, so you don't have to worry about not being able to line it up perfectly. But the great thing is, if you're going to do things like this that are three-dimensional, you can just stick another white die cut on the back of them. I know you don't have the image on the back, but it covers up, okay, you can see the sticks there, but it covers up the adhesives that you've used to put the stick on there. It just, and it also covers up your alcohol pen colouring, because you can kind of see it bleeding through the card. But I love having the coordinating dies for projects like this, because it just makes it so much easier than having to try and, you know, like fussy cut the image and then try and cut another shape that's similar to it as well. So it makes it so much easier. So we've got that little girl or little mermaid. Then we've got this little mermaid. I kind of gave her ombre hair from brown to like an aquamarine sort of colour that matches her tail. So she's tried to match her hair to her tail. And she's sort of giving that side-eye kind of look to the treasure chest. And then there's also, I coloured the pearl necklace to sort of match her outfit. So it's kind of tempting her because it matches what she's wearing, or her fin and her top as well. And I've just sort of used all sort of coordinating colours to kind of tie everything together. You know, like the money I've coloured with the same colour that I used on her necklace and the starfish and stuff like that. And her hair is the same colour as the treasure chest. And again, I've used the white die cuts on the back to kind of hide the stick that's in there too. And these are just kebab skewers that I cut down. Then we've got the little narwhal, and I decided to make him hold a little starfish, so he's got a little friend and he's taking the little starfish. And then again, I've used the white die cut on the back. We've got the little giggling mermaid, and I'm kind of made her look like she's sort of laughing because the jellyfish is there. Maybe the jellyfish just told her a joke and she's laughing. And I've sort of coordinated so the shells in her hair are the same colour as the jellyfish. And again, I've used the white die cuts on the back. And then this little mermaid here, I decided to go with grey hair for her. I don't often colour grey hair, but I thought it would work really nicely with the blue and bluey green kind of tones that I'd chosen. And she's looking at her reflection in her little handheld mirror. And then I have done the white die cut on the back of this one as well. I kind of felt like, because she already had an accessory, just her by herself worked really nicely, whereas the others, I did combine every single other one with a little accessory as well, but she works really nicely by herself because she already has her little mirror. And then finally I did the little dolphin with the little flounder fish as well, and I just stuck that one on top, so it kind of looks like they're swimming along together. And again, I've used the white die cut on the back for the little topper too. So those are perfect little cupcake toppers, or you could just put them in potted plants as well. You could just have them poked into the soil of a potted plant. That would make a really nice gift that kind of way too. Or they don't have to be cupcake toppers. You could build up a whole scene of mermaids on the top of a big celebration cake and just poke them into your icing on the top of the cake and build like a scene with them. And I think this idea would be great with some of the other birthday week releases that came out recently, like there's a little Santa and stuff. You could also do decorations for your Christmas cakes or your Christmas cupcakes as well, and have like Santa on one of these little sticks too for different kind of decorations. So that is all of my little cake toppers. And then I've also done five other cards as well. So this is where I kind of created a circle element with the little narwhal sort of swimming around, and I thought she would go really nicely in the centre because good to see you, I thought it would go nicely because she's kind of seeing her reflection, so I thought that would go quite well together. I've just done a little bit of gentle ink blending in the background, and then I've used some Morning Dew Nuvo crystal drops to add like little bubbles everywhere on a lot of these cards actually. So that's a really cute kind of different layout for you. Then this one is that lovely sort of cheerful mermaid that's going hooray, or in this case she's kind of presenting or pushing your attention towards the little dolphin that's jumping over the top of her. And then I've used the "You're so flippin' fantastic" as the sentiment, and I've used all of these bubble die cuts in the background, so you can see some where I have cut the detail together, and then two of them are actually the full complete piece. One is cut in glitter card and one's in normal card, and I've just flipped them up the opposite ways round. And I've also used some Nuvo Morning Dew drops as well, and I decoupaged this mermaid a little bit as well, so she is actually raised up, so her hair, this part of her hair is like the only bit on the back layer, and then I've raised up her face, the top part of her hair, her arms, her body and her tail and everything, just to give it a little bit of dimension to a really easy kind of card. So I've done that one. This one, as I said before, it works really nicely for kind of like a landscape sort of card. And again, I think she goes really nicely with the oyster or the treasure chest. And on the cupcake topper, I put the treasure chest over here. But in this one, she's sort of found the treasure. Looks like she's put some of it on. And then she's gone, oh, actually, there's a pearl in that oyster. And she's kind of looking at it. So I thought that would make quite a nice kind of scene. And because she's looking at the oyster, I thought the "Let's Celebrate" goes really nicely. And then I've also used a few of those little jellyfish in there too, and I've tied the jellyfish colour in to the little sort of cushion colour inside the oyster as well. And she is a little bit decoupaged too. I also sort of cut out her hair, her face and her arm and her top bodice piece and decoupaged that up as well. And to get the ground area, I just took a black fine liner and drew a swooping line and then coloured it in to kind of give that grounded sort of effect. And I've used some of the die cuts in the background, and I've just coloured them with the same alcohol pens that I've been using to colour the different elements, so everything goes really nicely together. And also the bubbles, I stamped some of the bubbles, and then some of them I've also put the Nuvo dewdrops, the clear crystal drops, over the top of some of the bubbles as well. Then I did this card, which is cutting those aperture bubbles into the card and just using the dies on this one. Other than the sentiment, I did make a splash for this one, but the rest is just the dies. So you've got the gorgeous turtle down there, you've got some of the sort of coral or seaweed kind of coming up, and then you've also got that little anchor up there as well. And in the background I did stamp "Make a Splash" lots of times in the background, so you can kind of see hints of that stamping coming through as well. And then the final card that I did was using that little giggling mermaid again, and she's supposed to be giggling at the dolphin because he's supposed to move in there. He's on the invisible thread, but I think I put too many large shaker things in there. I decided to go with some large micro beads that I had, and also some blue seed beads, and they've kind of got stuck and they stop him from moving now. So maybe avoid large beads when you're doing one of those little elements that wiggles around inside a shaker because he's kind of got a bit stuck, but he's still in there, you can still see him. And then there's also a couple of starfish and stuff floating around inside there too, and you've got the little fish in the foreground to tie all of the colours together. And then when I was decoupaging the this mermaid and this mermaid, was it this? No, it was this one, sorry. It was decoupaging this mermaid. I had her tail left over, and then this one I had the tail left over because I knew I wasn't going to use the rest of her. I knew she was going to be hiding behind a narwhal. So I've actually used their two tails, coloured them the same as this one, and added them in, poking throughout this frame. This was just a circle die cut, you know, like an extra tonic die, but then this is using the bubbles going in the foreground as well. I really like how this one turned out. I like the kind of layout, but I do think you could definitely put this on more of like a DL kind of size card, and maybe even use a larger aperture. If you have any of the mini slimline dies that Tonic brought out on Create and Craft recently, or the slimline dies as well, you could use one of the skinnier rectangles and do like a longer shaker to go on a slimline card as well, and then maybe you'd have more room for that dolphin to sort of be moving around in there as well. So that is the fifth sample that I've done. So I hope you enjoyed this up-close video looking at Tonic Stamp Club number 23, which is called Fintastic Mermaids. I hope you enjoyed some of the inspiration that I shared with you as well, like shaker cards, using the bubble apertures white on white in the background, creating like a wreath out of some of the characters, and I definitely think it worked really nicely with the dolphin as well, using the extra dies to create apertures on your card and recessing the designs back in, creating like a longer design, and also doing the cupcake toppers as well, which I never really thought to do, but because Janine asked for them, it works so perfectly, and creates a really lovely extra kind of project that you can do, whether you do them with these mermaid dies or whether you use them, this kind of concept of making the cupcake toppers with any of your other stamp clubs where you have the coordinating die to go with your character as well. I think it works really, really nicely. Or if you have a scan and cut, you could cut your character out and then cut the same shape a second time to use to back it as well. So yeah, I think it's a really cool idea to use them for cupcake toppers or just general celebration cake toppers as well, or the idea of putting them in your plant pots too. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!